Hello, and welcome to another edition of You Can Get There From Here. I'm Dr. Joe Moore, Chair of the Department of Communication and Digital Media Production at the University of Central Missouri, and it's my pleasure every week to get to sit down and visit with some of our alumni. We talk to those who graduated in digital media production, others who got their degree in communication studies, some who got their master's degree. We even talked to some students who got their degree before those were the names. Names like broadcast media and journalism, public relations when it was a part of our program. We get to sit down and visit with them and find out what they're up to today and how the program helped them get there. Today, we're visiting with Shelby Bueneman-Doutt. Shelby was a graduate of our public relations program here at the University of Central Missouri, and then she decided she wanted to get a little bit more education. So she stuck around, got her master's degree in communication, and we're so glad she did. Shelby, how are you?
I'm doing so good. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you on the show. So you're now working with the Robert E. Miller Group. I had to ask you this before we come on the air because there were like
Yeah.
three different Miller groups out there. The
Yeah.
Robert E. Miller Group, insurance and brokerage firm. We'll come back to that a little bit here later. But first of all, talk to us about what led you to UCM.
So I actually started off with nursing before I switched to public relations. I graduated high school with my CNA and I went out of state for college for a bit. I kind of decided I didn't like it. So I moved back home into community college and I took a career course and PR just kind of fell in my lap. And luckily, UCM has one of the best programs, so I just took a little tour. I met Professor Heaps when he was still here, and he sold me on the program. And I started as a transfer student, and I just hit the ground running.
Yeah,
So
Tom Heaps has a way of selling people on programs, doesn't he? He's a pretty good guy.
he is awesome. Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah, we miss him around here. He's gone back into the professional world, working full time out there, left academia and has gone back to the industry. So he was a great member of our faculty, and we were glad to have him.
Yeah.
But so did you then finish with your bachelor's degree and then go right into the master's, or did you go out and work for a little bit first?
I took a year break. I graduated 2020, COVID. It was not fun trying to find a job. So I just took something as an administrative assistant with a little bit of social media so I could still kind of keep up with everything. And I didn't know if I really wanted to go back to school, but Maya Duncan, now Maya Jolly, she is one of my really good friends, and she kind of convinced me to go back, and we have the same master's degree. So it was really fun, and I'm glad I took the leap, honestly.
Yeah, we got to have Maya on last semester. She was one of our first guests. So she's a big advocate of the program. She's a big advocate of the university. We're glad to have her as part of our team. So what did you like best about working on that master's degree? Some people they like their graduate assistantship, others they really, maybe they taught a little bit, some really got into the research. What was it for you that stood out?
I really like the flexibility of the program. I worked full time and got my master's, and everyone was so nice working with me on my work schedule and turning in assignments. And it's really just an in-depth program. The research is really fun. I didn't think I would enjoy it, but I actually did, kind of looking at all the different theories and stuff. There's only so much that you go into in your undergrad, and your master's just takes that a step further. And while working full time and doing all the research, I was able to really connect everything all together.
What did you find the most challenging? Because we market our graduate program now to, there's one track for those students who want to be on campus, want to do it full time, but then there's another track for working professionals. What did you find the most challenging, and how did you overcome those challenges?
I think the most challenging is starting after taking a year off. There's a huge mental block. School can be challenging. You're like, okay, I'm finally done. I don't have to do this anymore. And trying to get right back into it and keep that mentality while you're still working, burnout can happen pretty quick. So it's just keeping a tight schedule and making sure you stay with that really helped me overcome it. And then once I was done with my master's, I was like, oh, okay, so now I'm done. And it didn't really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, because now were you working with the Miller Group at that point, or were you working somewhere else first?
I was working at one job and then halfway through I joined the Miller Group.
Okay. So the Miller Group you talked about, so the Robert E. Miller Group, insurance brokerage, you're in charge of marketing and communications with them. Talk about the organization. What all do you do?
So I do my job, I do a little bit of everything. So we work with employee benefits, property and casualty, construction, manufacturing, and nonprofit are some of our niches. And we help them connect with carriers to find the best insurance plan that fits their needs and their company and all that in between. We're really kind of a thought leadership place as well. So a lot what I do is I am more of the outward facing marketing. I do our social media, our blogs, our newsletters, all of our events and stuff I help promote, and also do all the back end stuff with all of our emailings. So I kind of touch a little bit of everything.
So now you do the blogs and the newsletters. So you do need some writing skills.
Yes, a lot of
Huh.
writing skills, which was amazing with my master's degree because I was writing all the time.
I say that kind of tongue in cheek because we get all kinds of students going, man, I want to do broadcasting or I want to be a presenter. Why do I have to write? Because it all starts with writing.
Yes, it's all your ideas getting down. And even when we do webinars and stuff, my boss will have a little bit of her script typed up. So if she needs to do like a quick look, she can see. But sometimes you just can't verbally put it out. You have to write it down a little bit.
Got to give that detail. You got to give that
Yeah.
that chance for people to be able to go back and reread and get all the details and everything. So you kind
Mhm.
of touched on that then. Your graduate program, because you did a lot of writing in your grad program, it helped you in that regard. You weren't writing newsletters or blogs per se, but you were doing a lot of writing. How else did your master's program, your extended education, if you will, how much did that help you in your career?
I think a lot of one class is the gender studies class, I think, if I remember correctly, and just kind of how to communicate with everyone around you. Marketing and sales, there's a lot of sometimes there's a little bit of tension between everyone because we're all trying to work from the same goal, but we're getting there in different ways. And that just kind of helped me to really better realize where they're coming from, where I'm coming from, and how we can meet in the middle. And I think overall, just because going from college to the workplace, it's a whole different ballgame. Not everybody is your age. Everybody's at a different place in life. Everybody has different stuff going on. So you got to kind of learn how to take some things at face value or just not read too much into everything.
Yeah, we talk a lot in like the public speaking curriculum about audience-centered speaking. And really, in anything we do, we talk about who's the audience when you're communicating. You've got a message you want to share, but who's the audience you're trying to share it with? So you target it properly, so you speak it properly or write it properly and present it properly so that there's no point in having a message if nobody's listening to it, right? So you've got to know who
Exactly.
that audience is. So excellent. What drives you? What motivates Shelby Bueneman?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. I love what I do. I don't know. Switching like switching up in college, what I wanted to do, it was rough. It was hard. I didn't think I would like it, but I don't know. I think just finding something that you love to do really helps drive you, especially in the workforce. If you're not getting up and you're like, I'm excited, not like excited, but like, oh, I'm not dreading the day completely, then you need to find something else or do something else. But I
Yeah,
think just loving what I do and having that creative outlet really helps me to just keep going forward.
yeah, having that we as creatives, we have to have that outlet. We have to have that way to
Yes.
tell those stories. So excellent. So what's next?
Oh, what's next? I'm not too sure. I really like where I'm at right now. I'm learning a lot. My team, it's a team of three, and we have a Gen X, a millennial, and I am the very beginning of Gen Z. So I am learning so many different things and ways to do everything. We all three went to UCM, so we have a lot of the same background with schooling. Um, so it's nice to have those mentors and things, but I think maybe a couple years down the road, I'd like to try out agency for a while just to see, because I've been an in-house for so long and I know how that is. And I have my schedule and stuff, and new things pop up all the time. But I think agency would be nice to maybe it's more of a creative scratch for me.
Okay. Every once in a while, you got to have that little shift. Well,
Yeah.
Shelby, I appreciate you being on today. Before I let you go, I do need to ask you a couple final questions because we're using this podcast to try and reach out to our current students as well as our alumni and maybe even some potential students. You're out there, you've been doing it. You were out, you came back. What is some advice you have for current UCM students who might be thinking about going for that master's degree, or at least that they're wrapping up their education and they're getting ready to go out into the workforce? And what advice would you have for a student in high school or community college who's thinking about UCM for their communication program?
Yeah. So I think for current students, just do a bunch of research, kind of see what gradships are out there. When I was making my decision before COVID hit and everything, I was kind of looking at gradships and I wish I would have done one. I think it would have been a little bit more fun to be on campus and more involved with everything. Not that strictly online wasn't super involving. Everyone was so great on discussion boards, so I didn't feel too disconnected. But I think just really try to make the decision earlier than later because that's where you're going to miss out on a bunch of different opportunities. But if you need to take a year off, take a year off. You can always jump right back in. And for students who are in high school, looking or community college, just do some more research, kind of find what you like. PR and marketing, it is a different ball game. You really have to find, you're not going to be good at every single thing. You're just going to have to keep working hard at it. So I think just take a career courses are amazing. Find what you love and just go for it.
Sounds great, Shelby. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today. I'm excited about what you're doing there with the Miller Group, and continue doing what you're doing, continue growing, continue learning, continue leading. We're proud of you. Thanks for being a part of our team.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thanks all of you for tuning in today. Remember, you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel through the UCM Media Network. That's youtube.com/UCMMN. You can also listen on Spotify. Special thanks to Jake Megra for creating our theme music for us. Again, this is Dr. Joe Moore reminding you, you can get there from here. Have a great day.